Aloha and welcome. This is Natasha. So today I'm going to be doing 3 cards with the My Favorite Things Let's Toast with a Twist card kit. I'm going to start out with some of the dies that came in the kit. This kit had a bunch of dies, so I'm just starting with the martini glass die cut, and I end up cutting out 2 martini glasses. I'm just going to show you here. I cut it out of white cardstock. And this is the Nina Solar White, and I'm going to be using some of my Spectrum Noir pens just to give it a little light blue tint to make it look like glass, like actual glass. So I'm using the colors there up on the left hand corner. It's IB1 and AB1, and I'm just going to be blending those two together. And I just wanted to, like, you don't want to add too much of that darker, the AB. Less is better when you're just trying to give it a little hint so it looks like glass. I'm just going to blend everything out, and then I'm going to hit the other side or color the other side of the glass. Just a really light color. I'm going to do that to the other martini glass as well. Okay, and I did want to just mention, so I do have the Tim Holtz glass mat, so I did use alcohol markers and I didn't put anything under the markers. I just did it on my glass mat. And so in order to clean that, a real good tip is to just use some hand sanitizer and a towel and just wipe it. It comes right off. Okay, so here's my 2 glasses. I'm going to take some glossy accents and I'm just going to be adding on the glossy accents to make it look like there's some liquid, like a martini in there. So just adding some of the glossy accents there on both of the martinis. Okay, so I did use some Glitz, this Glitz paper pad, the Wild and Free. It's a bunch of paper pattern papers, and I feel like I was doing like the Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers pattern paper. Anyway, I took this pattern paper here. I thought it would go really fun with the martini glasses, and I'm going to be using my Wonky Stitch die cut. I'm going to cut out a panel there. Okay, and I did go ahead and I stamped and heat embossed with gold embossing powder my sentiment, which is "Happy Drunk, Let's Get Birthday." And so I'm going to be really delicate with my martini glasses because the glossy accents hasn't dried yet, but I do want to proceed on with the rest of my card while it dries. And I didn't record this part, but before the glossy accent dries, I do add 2 green colored dewdrops to look like olives in the martini glasses. So we're not going to get to see that because I forgot to film that part, but it is in the final project. So here I'm just lining up my martini glasses. I'm going to be holding down my panel with a little bit of washi tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to real quickly outline my martini glasses with the pencil. And then there's 2 circle dies that comes in the kit. And this is part of the twist with a twist, or it says, sorry, meet in the middle interactive die set. So I just cut out 2 of the circles in the middle of those martini glasses. And then I got some white cardstock in the back of my front panel, and I'm going to be just trying to get the center of those 2 circles. And I'm going to just make a little mark in the center. Okay, and I'm just going to take a little poking tool and I'm going to put 2 holes on those 2 dots. Okay, so I'm not going to really show you how the whole mechanism goes together. You could do a whole video on that. But the My Favorite Things, they have a really good video on their YouTube channel that shows you really good detailed instructions on how to put this together. Okay, So I have my pull tab all set, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually show you here. I'm gonna measure it out. You want to make sure that your pull tab, your pull tab, is in the right position, and then I'm just gonna push down on that center. Gosh, what are these things called? Yeah, I'm gonna push down on that center pin, and it's gonna just make an indentation there so I can poke a hole and then attach that little brad. That's the name, brad. Okay, and this part I added a bunch of foam adhesive, and I'm gonna be attaching my front panel to this back panel here. And I just hand wrote pull. I'm pretty sure I have a stamp that says pull, but I just wrote it out with a Sharpie marker. Okay, and then here I put some teal colored cardstock on my card base, and I took the little rings that comes in the die cut. There's a die that comes, there's like 4 of them I think, and then I ran it through a couple of times and I stacked them up. So each one of these little stacks of, it looks like lifesavers, there's 8 of them on each one. And what you want to do, what I did was I used liquid adhesive just to make sure I had some wiggle room, and then you want to make sure that that brad goes in the middle of that lifesaver looking die cut, and then just make sure that it freely moves, that the lifesaver looking things move freely. And that's what you're going to attach the little martini glasses to. So you're going to want to put some liquid adhesive and just press your your die cut onto that little piece there. So I'm going to make sure that it all works. I'm going to just pull on the little tab and they should toast. Yes, there you go. And they're toasting. Sort of, a little far apart, but all right. And so I didn't show the ending part of that card, but I will show you still shots of how gorgeous that card came out. And so let's move on to the second card. I used the wine glass die cut and this add-on, which is the cheers die cut. And so I cut my 2 die cuts with black cardstock with the wine die cut, and then I cut the cheers out of some gold cardstock, and I also had cut out 4 of the white cardstock, and I'm just stacking the cheers on top of each other using liquid adhesive and just adding that gold to the white cardstocks. Okay, so I took these 3 distress oxides, the antique linen, faded jeans, and seedless preserves, and I took a strip of Nina Solar White, which is at like 1.5 inches wide, and I just blended on those 3 colors onto that strip. And then I adhered that with some liquid adhesive, and now I am just spritzing on some gold shimmer spray. And then I'm just gonna let that sit for like a couple of seconds, and I'm gonna dab it away with my rag. And this rag looks super dirty on camera, but it is my crafting rag. I've had it for years. I do wash it, but it's an inky rag. But I just blot away some of the water, and it leaves this beautiful splattered look. Okay, so I'm going to be adding on my 2 silhouette wine glass die cuts, and I'm just going to be adding some liquid adhesive and just placing them on so that they look like they're toasting as well. Okay, and then I'm going to take my cheers die cut and just place that right down onto the wine glasses. And so this card is super simple. I used some of the honeybees sequence mix and added some sequins onto the card, and it's done. That is it. Okay, let's move on to the third card for this kit. I'm going to again use the same die cut. I'm using the wine glass die cut, and I'm cutting it out of some random pieces of scrap paper that I have lying around, just using up my scraps. You always want to see if you could reuse and repurpose your pieces of scrap paper. So here, this one actually I cut out a white cardstock and I just blended on some gold shimmer ink. So I started the blending from the top of the wine glass down to the stem. Okay, and then I took a craft cardstock and I ran it through my die cut machine with a rounded rectangle die cut. And then what I'm going to do is another super simple card. I'm going to take one of the sentiments that comes in. This is the add-on that came with this kit. So I'm going to take a couple of the sentiments from this stamp set, which is wishing you a bottomless birthday and then drinks, ? Using this Wow red embossing powder. And this thing is gorgeous. There's like, after I heat set it, there was like a metallic look to it. It's just gorgeous. So it says wishing you a bottomless birthday, drinks, ? So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of the vintage photo just to give it a little bit of a pop. So when I put it onto my white card base, it pops up off the card front. And then taking some of my liquid adhesive, I'm just going to be placing down my wine glasses random, all wonky, just having fun with it. So there's no real rhyme to it. There's some glasses are upside down, some glasses are right side up, some are slanted, some are straight. So really easy, simple process. Okay, and here's the last one. And there you go. Okay, and I kept this card just simple like that. I'm using some Gina K tape runner, and I'm gonna be placing that onto my side folding card front. You always want to make sure that it opens the right way. You don't want to make that mistake and have to rip apart your card. And then I'm just as center as I can get it, and then press it down. Okay, I'm gonna take my Wink of Stella brush pen and I'm gonna add some sparkle to the 4 wine glasses, because the gold one does have it. From the gold ink, there's a lot of shimmer on that glass, so I'm just going to add it to the rest. So here's the shimmer that comes on those glasses, and it's gorge. Okay, all right, so I'm going to give you a couple of still shots of the 3 cards that I made here today in this video. And as I said, this first card, you didn't get to see the finish of it. I did add some clear sequins and those 2 green dewdrop beads just to look like some olives in your martini. I tried to get some good pictures here, and here you can see more of the glossy accents. Okay, and then the wine glasses. All right, so the 2 of these cards were really simple. It's easy to duplicate those card designs. The one with the interactive die, that one is a little more, there's a little more process that goes into making that one, but it was really cool working with this. And I already have a bunch of people in mind to be accepting these cards for their birthdays. So thank you so much for sticking around. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and like this video, and follow me on Instagram @WongYuan Designs. Mahalo, ahoy ho.